guys, welcome back to the Apex podcast. My name is Emily and we're joined with Wes.
I'm Aaron.
And I'm Michael.
So now it is trivia time. Woo!
Trivia.
Okay. It's who gets it first. Okay. Question number 1. What direction does the sun rise?
As in, where does it rise from?
What direction does the sun rise?
Up.
East?
Yeah!
Oh,
Wow.
you should have clarified that before you asked the question.
No, man. Sun rises from the
Obviously
east.
the sun rises
So
up.
it's
Yes, but
Obviously.
obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Well,
Well,
great direction.
1 point to Aaron.
1 point to
Woo.
Aaron.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Okay, so what is the capital of China?
Beijing.
You know what? I wouldn't have got that question. I would have gotten that wrong. Okay, this is the last one. Are you guys ready? This one's really tough.
Go on. What's with the Googles?
How many sides does a triangle have?
3.
Oh, that was really close. Who?
You have a tiebreaker, no?
No, okay. Yeah, no, I do.
Okay.
Okay.
What a question.
We've got a
What a great
tiebreaker. I think this is according to right now, currently. Yeah.
Currently.
Yeah. What is the most trending app right now?
TikTok.
Yeah. Nice. The winner is Michael. Woo! So our forfeit. What was our forfeit?
What was our forfeit, Aaron?
I think it's a concoction and that I made.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
That's peak for you. Okay, so here we've got the lovely jubbly concoction. Do you want to tell us what is in that said
What's
concoction?
in it?
Yeah.
So we've got a mix of jam, some oat milk,
Sounding pretty good so far.
some chili flakes,
Okay. Spice.
some garlic.
We need some
It's
garlic.
gonna stink. Some mustard and some lemon juice.
Oh wow.
Beautiful. I know.
Wow, that's
Uh,
giving
what-
tropical.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm a chef.
Go ahead then. Chef it
Sure.
up. The chef and his meal, innit?
I hope you guys enjoy.
Stinks as well, man. Do I have to drink the whole thing or just a sip? I'm not trying to drink the whole thing.
Oh,
please.
okay, at least like 2/3. I don't know what that looks like to you.
2/3.
Okay.
Shall we have a timer?
This episode, you did one sip.
Okay.
30
you have-
seconds?
Yeah, let's put 30 seconds on
Guys,
the.
I'm not trying to drink the whole thing, please.
10
Okay.
seconds.
Hey,
Oh, let's
We'll
see
do
how much
10
you can drink in 10 seconds.
We'll do a 10-second.
10 seconds.
I'm not trying to chug this,
You know
please.
what? Yeah, if you're smart, you would think about how to do that quickly. Okay,
10 seconds.
starting in
10 seconds.
3, 2, 1, and go. No, you can't.
Aaron,
Come on now. Wow, you know what? Yeah,
do you know what?
I thought
fine.
better for
Right,
you.
I'll actually
I
feel
thought
It's fine.
as a man you would
Yeah,
do better.
no, that's not the one.
Wow, that's really poor.
Oh, man.
Well, we are going to move into our conversation now. Okay, so today's discussion is loneliness, but before we get into it, I thought I'd ask you guys a little icebreaker question. If you could have a dinner guest, your dream dinner guest, who would it be and why?
Aaron, you can go first.
Okay. I'd say Freddie Mercury.
Ooh.
Just because, like, very musical. I feel like there'd be some good advice for how to, like, get songs to sell, sort of thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
It's quite a hard question.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people. Are we going as a date or is it just a business,
It's
business
just, let's say
meeting?
you've invited them to your house.
Okay. I'll go with my favourite player, number 20, Cole Palmer.
I'm going to
Yeah.
act like I know who that
Cole
is.
Palmer,
Woo, Cole
yeah,
Palmer.
just a great guy. I think I just want to know him a bit more and become friends. So I think, Cole Palmer.
He's our age as well.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Just,
Oh, nice.
maybe you can get me some Chelsea tickets.
Cole
yeah.
Palmer, if you're watching. I would say mine changes all the time, but I'm gonna go with his name's Posse. He was in For the Black Boys. Great guy. I literally have no clue who he is, but I watched him. He was great. So
Posse?
for like,
Yeah.
Yeah, Posse. Yeah.
If you want to hit
yeah.
Emily up,
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so loneliness. So I wanted to ask you guys, do you guys have any personal experiences when it comes to loneliness, and how did you deal with it?
Sure. Yeah, so I think when I was year 10, like I struggled with loneliness. Like a few people from like youth that I kind of grew up with, like walked away from God a bit, and I was like, okay, so now I've actually got to speak to people I don't want to speak to at youth. I struggled with that. I'm not an extroverted person. So I think, yeah, like going to youth was a struggle. I didn't enjoy it as much as I had done. But yeah, I think the way I got over that was, yeah, my small group leader was really good. Like if John's watching, yeah,
Shout out to John.
yeah, shout out to John. We had, yeah, small groups was really good, and it felt like, okay, I can be open, tell you that I'm struggling with this, and yeah, like we'd speak each week about like how I'm doing, sort of thing, check in, and then eventually it got to a stage where I was more comfortable, like in myself, to then speak to other people. But yeah,
That's really good.
Kels?
Yeah, similar thing. I think, as Erin said, a few friends left Apex, and you know, shout out to Caden, cameraman. You know, at least I had someone to come Apex with. But yeah, I think loneliness, it sort of kicked in when I went to uni. Obviously, for those going to uni, it's normal to be lonely, and I think you just have to be able just to speak to people. I guess even if you're not extroverted, I would say just try and speak to people, because it always works in the end, and then you make good friends and connections from there. So yeah, that's what I would say about my experience of loneliness.
Yeah, I feel like I've had mixed experiences between like Apex and also uni. Definitely felt really lonely at Apex when I was like younger. But then yeah, small group is a great. Like actually come to Apex because your small group. They're your people, like, because it's age mates who are all trying to achieve the same thing, which is get closer to God. And I feel like for me at uni, it wasn't until literally third year, which I literally just finished, which is crazy because you think by third year you would have like your people. But because I'd started to lose those people by like second year, so third year I was like, okay, I know a lot of people. I'm friends with loads of people, but I don't actually have like my friends, my ride or die. So it was definitely really difficult trying to navigate through uni. So I felt like I was running to church a lot more, which is why I've loved having a church community, because I'm like, okay, you know what, uni is temporary, church is forever. I have those people. But yeah, it's nice to know that loneliness is universal. It's not just like you've experienced loneliness at uni, at Apex. It's like we're in this together.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
I agree.
Period. Do you think there's a difference between being alone and loneliness? Like, do you think people mix those two up? How would you say, like, what would you say the difference is between the two?
I think being alone is like, okay, yeah, you might be in your own space, but being lonely is just maybe, I guess, it's subjective. People could say, oh, being lonely is not having a lot of friends. That's what you're a loner. You're all by yourself and you don't have any friends. But I guess being alone sometimes is good, just to sort of clear your head a bit and be in your own space, because, you know, being around people too much is can also be overwhelming sometimes for some people. So, you know yourself, and if you think that's what you need to do to step away from people for a bit of time, then yeah, just do whatever feels good for you. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, off the back of that, I'd say like people, like when they're alone, it's like, okay, I'm on my own, like it's just me. Whereas loneliness, you can be in a crowd and still feel lonely. So like I was saying, I was at Apex, I was surrounded by people I knew, but at that same time it was like, okay, do I actually want to like go out of my way to speak to them? And like in that moment I was like, okay, I'm on my own, but I'm surrounded by people. So I think, yeah, there's a big difference which like people don't seem to grasp. So like when you're alone, it is you on your own with no one around you, whereas you can still be lonely in a moment being surrounded by other people.
Yeah. So how would you say that you you guys have like dealt with the two of like alone and then loneliness, or would you say you've kind of just paired them together? Like, do you think you've dealt with them separately? Like, are you okay with being alone, or do you struggle with being alone and loneliness as well? If that makes sense.
I think for me, like, I'm happy to be alone. So like the whole like lone wolf mentality, etc. I like being on my own and having time to myself to like do what I want to do. But yeah, when like I feel lonely, I'd like to be surrounded by people. So I'm happy to sit on my own, like being alone. But it's when there's a difference between that and then feeling lonely. But when I feel lonely, I find it easiest to surround myself with people that I feel comfortable talking with.
Yeah.
And people that I know, okay, like I can tell you this and it's not going to go any further, but you're going to give me some good advice on how to get over it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with Erin. Sometimes I like being alone because I just find being in my own space is what I need at times, and I feel like you can just enjoy your hobbies, whatever you like doing by yourself without any other people. But what I would say is maybe, trying to combat it, trying to like surround yourself with a community of people who, as Erin said, can listen to you and can give you good advice, because that is really important, especially within youth and just Christian faith in general. Community is very important, and you can learn a lot from other people without knowing it. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah. And you guys both mentioned something which I really like about like there is positives in being like alone or like loneliness, because I feel like sometimes people only focus on like the negative sides of I'm by myself, I've got no one to talk to, but like you guys were saying, like I love going to the theatre by myself. There's something about solo dates and just having no one to talk to you and no one to bother you that I'm like,
that is true.
This is really, really nice. So like, would you say that there is positive sides to like being alone and having that, I guess, one-on-one with yourself and also with God? Would you say there's positives in that?
Yeah, I would say just by yourself, doing solo dates, I think is something I've tried to do as of recent, because I never used to do it before, but because I just thought it was just like a weird thing that people used to do. But, as you see more people doing it, you get used to it and you're like, oh, maybe I should actually give it a go. Yeah. And also sometimes being with other people can, as I said before, be overwhelming, and that's what I'll say.
I think I'm most creative when I'm on my own.
Fair.
So like I play instruments and I like doing like woodwork sort of things. But then like my best ideas come when I'm sat on my own listening to music, and then that's like time for me to just reflect on, okay, could this work? It gives me time to like plan out meticulously what I'm gonna do. Whereas if I'm surrounded by other people and it's like, okay, we're gonna do a group project, it's like, okay, I know what I want to do, but then I have to try and convince 4 other people that, okay, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Whereas when I'm on my own, I can just do what I want, sort of thing, and then that allows me to have time to then reflect on myself and then spend that time with God as well. That, okay, like I'm struggling with this, but I can pray about that on my own.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I really like what you said as well. And I think whilst there's positives in it, you have to, I guess the thing that could be dangerous is that people then seek people instead of seeking God. And that could be like a negative thing that I know for example, have then made people into an idol because I've been alone when God's like, I'm right here. So do you think you've ever like struggled with that, where you felt like because you've been alone, you've then gone to people instead of God first?
I think, you always think, being with people is probably the solution, but sometimes God is probably saying he's separating you from such people. And sometimes being alone is better for growth, because you're able to grow and you're able to understand yourself a bit more. And then maybe, who knows, you might be able to go back to those friends and teach them a thing or two, whether they're believers or not. And even if they say, oh, where were you? Like, I don't really see you out that often. You could just give them a simple answer. You don't have to tell them all the details as to
Yeah.
why you felt like you needed to distance yourself.
Mhm.
You could just give a respectful answer, and if they're really your friend, they'll respect that you need your alone time sometimes. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes when you tell other people your issues,
Mhm.
they feel like they have to have a solution for it.
Right.
And it's like, I just need you to listen, sort of thing. Like, I
Mhm.
don't want you to give me answers.
Yeah.
I just want you to listen to what I'm saying. Whereas when you're on your own, you're able to just have that time with God.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're seeking God before your friends. It's okay, I don't actually need to tell you anything because you already
Right.
know.
Right.
Like, and it's just an ear to like listen to what you're saying.
Mhm.
And yeah, you might get a response,
Mhm.
and you might get like a sign of, okay, this is what you need to be doing, but you might not.
Mm.
But at least you know that, okay, I've got that off my chest.
Yeah.
Like, I've said what I've needed to say, and then you haven't got anyone judging you.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel that some friends that you can go to about certain issues and they'll be fine, but then you may not feel comfortable telling them like about different issues that you're going through.
Mm.
So whereas God, like, yeah, he's never going to judge you for what you're saying,
Yeah.
or never going to judge you for what you're going through.
Mm.
So it's a safe space to just turn to God and go, okay, look, I'm struggling,
Mm.
like, help.
Yeah.
Whereas, yeah, with your friends, it might be, okay, like, why are you doing that though?
Mm.
And then there's these extra questions they don't really want or
Yeah.
need to be answering.
Mm.
But yeah, with God, it's just straight to the point.
Mhm.
Okay, struggling, help me.
Yeah.
And then you work from there.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's so real. Yeah, because sometimes all the answers is just being alone with God and having that time with God. Do you think that the church has done enough or does enough to talk about loneliness? And why do you think the church is so important when it comes to struggling with loneliness?
I think the church is doing their best to
Mhm.
combat it. I think youth is a big thing because
Yeah.
I don't know about other churches. I don't know whether they have youth or not, but
Mm.
yeah, youth is a good thing. Connect groups as well is a good thing for people to connect with others and not be alone
Yeah.
in the Christian walk. So yeah, I think the church is doing a lot.
Mm.
Can you repeat that other question?
Yeah, you pretty much answered it basically. Like, why do you think? I guess why do you think it's important to have church when it comes to
Okay.
like loneliness?
Yeah, I think it's important to have church. As I said before, the whole community side of things, you can learn and you can ask for advice from people who won't just give you a worldly answer.
Mm.
They'll give you an answer that is realistic and also you know, from God as well. So yeah, I
Mm.
think the church and having that community is always good because I've grown up in church for all my life, and you know, you make good friends, life friends, you know, that you can do life with and talk to about your problems. So yeah, it brings you peace when you know you're not alone in certain situations. There's someone you can call on or ask questions and they won't, you know, look at you any different. So yeah,
Mm.
that's what I'd say.
Yeah.
See, I'd say, yeah, our church does quite
Mhm.
a lot, but the church as a whole, like nationwide, I don't think they do enough.
Mm.
So like, yeah, Apex is a great tool that our church utilizes really well, and like within the church, it's so easy to get linked in with other people
Yeah.
that, yeah, similar ages. Like, we've got so many connect groups with different things now
Mm.
within the church, so it's easy to talk to other people that are like-minded or similar to you. Whereas like as a whole, like, I know other churches struggle with that,
Mm-hmm.
and people struggle more with loneliness within those churches because they
Mhm.
haven't got those options.
Right.
So I think as a whole, like, the church needs to like kind of not up its game, but
There's
yeah,
always room for improvement.
there's more to be done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, I think a lot of other churches could learn from what like our church, or like whether it be Audacious or
Mm.
One Church in Gloucester, are doing to link
Yeah.
people together and get them talking.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's a lot to learn from that.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, we're definitely really privileged that we have this church community through youth and all the connect groups, because, yeah, I guess when we're in our church bubble, we don't realize how lucky we are that some people might not have this, but I think us having this good sense of community then helps us when we meet people that aren't from backgrounds that have that community, because
Yeah.
then we kind of know how to welcome them, how to get them involved. But what advice would you give to young people or just anyone in general who is struggling with loneliness or who might not have a group of people or a person that they feel like they can go to?
Yeah, I think if you're a youth that's struggling with loneliness, I would say, obviously, if you're in Apex, speak to a leader, maybe a small group leader or someone you trust, and just be open, be transparent about how you're feeling, and hopefully we can help you with whatever problems you have. But also, we will tell you to go to God about it and just pray about it, or try and find other ways that you can help reduce loneliness, like try and call a friend or talk to your parents about it as well. So just try and find people who've gone through it and experienced it, and hopefully you can overcome it. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
That's good.
Yeah, I'd say I'm always gonna back the idea of having a mentor. So I think that really helped me personally, having mentors growing up throughout church. But yeah, I'd say get yourself a mentor, whether that be your small group leader or just someone who's not in a position of power, but someone who's traveled through life a bit more than you, or has experienced more than you in life, so that you can turn to them, and then they're not always going to have the answers, but it's someone to sit and talk with. So it's simple as just going to McDonald's with them and just having a chat. But I'd always push the idea of having a mentor to kind of keep you accountable to what you're saying you're going to do as well. So if you're struggling with loneliness and you're I'm going to read some Bible passages on how to cope with it, or Bible plans, there's a few of them on being lonely, etc. I'm going to keep up with this, but then to have that person who holds you accountable. So are you actually doing it though? So you don't backslide. But
that's so good, because I was going to say that, I mean, whilst God is always going to be our greatest friend, God didn't create us to be by ourselves. Obviously from what we've discussed, there's greatness in being alone, but it says in the Bible, I can't remember where, it says where 2 or 3 are gathered, there you are in the midst. God always is talking about community. So I feel don't be afraid to pray to God and ask for community, because he cares about those little things. He cares about you wanting to be in a community and having friends. So don't be afraid, because God listens to those prayers. And you've always got us, Apex leaders, period. If you see us around, don't be afraid to chit chat. I don't mind playing Uno and beating you at a basketball, period. Well, I mean, hey, they can challenge me on it. I would like to see someone try. But we're always here. As a church, we're a family, so don't be afraid to use your resources. But thank you guys for joining me on this podcast. We'll see you guys at Apex. You know what? Let's practice what we preach, what you've gathered here today. We would love to see you at Apex. Over and out.